Good morning. It's Wednesday, the 20th of May, and this morning I'd like to talk to you about two bells of New York. Now, our first bell of New York arrives in 1897. The Belle of New York, a musical comedy by Hugh Morton and Gustav Kircher. Now, it only ran a couple of months in New York in 1897, but somehow they managed to get the money together to take a full company of 66 actors to London the following year, where the show became the first musical to run more than 2 years, over 600 performances. It was a huge big hit, was revived many times, toured, and amateur companies took it up for many decades. So it was a great big title. Now, the plot concerns a girl in the Salvation Army who tries to persuade men to follow her blameless life, but unfortunately they're more interested in her quote-unquote blameless figure. If that sounds familiar, we'll come back to that. Hold that thought. Meanwhile, a little bit of the Belle of New York, 1897. Oh, teach me how to kiss, dear. Teach me how to squeeze. Teach me how to sit upon your sympathetic knees. Teach me how to coo, dear, like a turtle dove. Teach me how to fondle you. Oh, teach me how to love. I hope I do not shock my late converted flock by changing to a costume that could be described as snappy. I would not have you think that I would ever sink from my high state of piety to anything claptrappy. My morals have not changed, as you may guess. The only thing that's changed has been my dress. With the ornamental purity brigade, to our purity we add a little fashion, a pretty ribbon of the proper shade could never hinder real religious passion. 'Twould not be flash on a pretty maid when we fight to conquer viciousness and shame. Our shiny trumpets going tooty tooty. We really do not think that we're to blame for dressing in a style that suits our beauty. We do our duty just the same. So that's the Belle of New York from 1897, and a huge big popular hit it was. Now, that plot, hang on to that thought, about a Salvation Army girl and a spendthrift rich boy. Now, 1950, one of the big hits on Broadway was Guys and Dolls. Now, producer Arthur Freed at MGM liked to keep his eye on what was big in New York. In 1943, he'd seen that Oklahoma was a huge big hit in New York, and he'd commissioned The Harvey Girls from Johnny Mercer and Harry Warren, which was a moderate success as a film, though it did win the Oscar for Best Song. And in 1950, he looked at Broadway and saw Guys and Dolls, and he thought, oh, now wasn't there a similar plot in something called The Belle of New York? Well, that's still a good selling title, but we'll have to completely redo the show, write something new. So he goes back to Harry Warren and Johnny Mercer and commissions a new score from them. Now, the film, The Belle of New York, 1952, it didn't get a terribly good reception, and it is a bit of fluff in a way, but It's really worth a look at for your time. The numbers are excellent. Fred Astaire thought they were some of his best numbers ever. He and Vera Ellen dance beautifully together. They have a whole sequence of numbers that are both romantic and comic, and they're absolutely marvellous. And the songs by Harry Warren and Johnny Mercer are really good. So I would encourage you to look at those. And it's a bit of fluff, but the comedy is held up by Alice Pearce. You remember Lucy Schmeler in On the Town, and Marjorie Main. You remember as the cook in Mimi in St. Louis. It's a perfectly entertaining film, and the numbers are remarkable. So here we go with our second Belle of New York. Dancing man while I can. Wanna leave my footsteps on the sands of time. If I never leave a dime, never be a millionaire. I don't care, I'll be rich as old King Midas might have been, least until the tide rolls in. Let other men build mighty nations or buildings to the sky. I'll leave a few creations to show that I was dancing by. I wanna be free as any bird can be. Yes, sirree.